to be swallowed up. That's the position Jonah was in chapter 2. He was swallowed up. Then Jonah prayed to the Lord his God from the belly of the fish. Jonah didn't pray till he was swallowed up. Jonah didn't reach out to God till he was in the midst of the sea, in the midst of trouble, great trouble that he brought upon himself. And that's the same way we are many times. We don't cry out to God until we're in the midst of trouble, until we're swallowed up and engulfed in the midst of all the mess. Many times we do not cry out to God until then. Jonah didn't pray until, but after he was swallowed up, after he was overcome. It says he even went to the depths of Sheol. I cried out of the belly of Sheol, which is hell. I cried out, and you heard my voice. Out of distress, out of trouble, he cried out to God, and God answered. In our own hell, in the place that we end up in because of our rebellion, because of us not seeking God, because of us not pursuing after God. And we end up in a place that we would consider that's horrible, that we would consider it hell, swallowed up by all the evil, all the sin, all the iniquity, all the rebellion. God will hear our cry, just like he did for Jonah. When our own soul faints with no hope, it says, Jonah said, I remembered the Lord and cried out to God, and my cry reached God. It even says that his cry, when he cried out, came to God in God's holy temple, in God's very presence. Our prayers, it doesn't matter the most difficult situation we could be in, the most terrible situation in our own hell that we may have created because of our rebellion, because of stupid things we did, and because of addiction, whatever it is. God will still hear your prayers if you cry out to him. Cry out to God today in your despair. If you feel that you've been just swallowed up and you're in the midst of the most terrible thing that you could be going through, cry out to God today. God will hear your presence. Your prayers, your voice will be heard in God's holy temple in the heavens. And God will respond. Jonah said here in 2:8, my soul fainted within me, but I remembered the Lord. And you may be one of those that have left God or never believed in God. And your soul is fainting away and you're in complete despair, utter despair. Remember that God loves you, that God created you. And Jonah says, my prayers came in unto thee, into thy holy temple. Don't rely on lying vanities. Don't rely on self-made things that we think can be the answer. Rely on God. He cried out to God, and God brought salvation. God brought deliverance. And it says in verse 11 of chapter 2, and the Lord spoke unto the fish, and it vomited out Moda. And the Lord spoke unto the fish, and it vomited out Jonah upon the dry land. Jonah was in the midst of the deep, in a fish's belly. And when he cried out to God, God heard him from the depths of his despair. And God will hear you today from the depths of your despair if you cry out to him, and he will put you in a safe place. He will bring peace and he will deliver you from any type of situation you're in, whether you created it or not. Jonah created this mess. He rebelled against God. He refused to listen and obey the voice of God. That may be what you did, but you may be in a place where you feel like that you didn't bring this upon yourself. The enemies just came in and overtook your life. God is there and he will hear your voice if you would cry out to him today, and he will come to your rescue. He will deliver you. Cry out to God today. God bless you.